One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities that we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
They need to appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was a delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio, right now the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice, but to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women.
Now, new polling from Pew finds that there is a larger gap between gender for each candidate in support. So 51% of male registered voters are supporting Trump and 43% supporting Harris. More specifically, 20% of black men support Trump compared to just 8% of black women.
Hello, America. I'm Vernon Jones, former county executive and former state representative from the great state of Georgia. I was just kind of thinking out loud here, especially after this past week when Barack Obama came out to lecture black men on who to vote for based on race. I was just kind of thinking out loud here. If I could ask him one question, I would say, Brother Barry, let me ask you a question. If Madam Lock Up a Brother Kamala Harris can choose to marry a white man, why can't black men choose to elect a white president? I'm just kind of curious. Get back with me, Bo. Let me know.
So, in case you haven't wondered, or in case you did wonder, this is the show that you can take and show your friends, your other liberal co-workers, your nutty liberal family members, and show them all exactly why Kamala Harris is going to lose this election. It's irrefutable. There is nothing anybody can say to this. They will try. Oh yeah, they will try to say that this isn't real or that the data can be questioned. It can't. So let me give you some historical information. We're going to go through a lot of data. You might want to take a pencil and understand what we're going to be doing here. We're going to spend the time, I don't know how long it'll be, we're going to go through all of this polling and throw it away. Because there's only one poll that matters at this point. And here it is, a couple weeks before the election, and not a single person anywhere has been able to ever refute me. Not on YouTube, not on X, in person. Nobody can refute what I'm about to show you. I've tried. I've sat back and said for months, you can't refute this. It is such hard data. And now we're starting to see the media beginning to talk and push back. It's like they waited, basically to the last minute to try and regain some credibility and start putting this out there. Those of you who have been watching me and following me for some time, I've been saying it. And I've been religious with it. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. And now we're seeing it come out all over the place. And all of a sudden, the polls seem to be shifting. The polls that have been lagging and basically been invisible and not showing stuff, they're now beginning to pop up and making people go, what the heck just happened? Well, it didn't just happen. That is specifically the answer. It didn't just happen. It has happened over a course of a year or maybe a year and a half. And now that demographic, the black vote, specifically black men, are being extremely vocal and telling you they're not voting for Kamala Harris. Now, I don't make any assertions. No, nothing. Aspersions. There is no possible way Trump is going to win the black vote. I have never said that he would win the black vote. There's still too many people on the plantation. But what I have said is, if you chip off enough and you just keep chipping, and you say, hey, what else you got to lose? And now you show them what they have to lose, you're going to get a significant amount of the black men to vote for you. And he has done that. And in addition to that, the cultural aspect, which a lot of people try to disavow, the cultural aspect is flipping huge. Baked into the black vote and baked into the Hispanic vote is a culture that you're not going to change with any ad, with any speech, anything. There are a certain amount of people, just like there's people on the left who don't care what Trump says, they're not voting for him because the orange man bad. If you understand that rationale, that there are indeed people who just under no circumstances would vote for Trump. There are those people. Well, they're also on the right, now they're on the right, because there is a certain core of black men and a certain core of Hispanic men. There may even be a certain core of white men who ain't voting for a woman. And then on top of that, they ain't voting for a somewhat black woman. Just won't happen. It's not anything to do with race, for the most part. It's more the fact of many black men, myself included, have been raised in homes where the black woman was the superiority of the household, whether the parents got divorced or whatever. And so they understand full well what black woman authority means. I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm not here to try and prove that part. I'm just telling you, it's there. Nobody's going to respond to that. They're not going to say, well, yeah, that's not true. You know, they love black women independence. And I'm just telling you, there's a core group. I don't know how big that core is, but there's enough of a core group who, under no circumstances, would vote for Kamala Harris. Just wouldn't do it. They wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton. It's just not going to happen. Blame our society. Maybe that's why they keep pushing about this toxic masculinity BS, because to them it's toxic that a man, or certain men and certain black men, just would not even entertain the thought of somebody like Kamala Harris being president. It is what it is. But in any event, let's look at some of what is being said these days.
Clearly trying to reach black men. Do you think her efforts are going to make a difference?
No, I don't. And for a number of reasons. Number one, this is the same Kamala Harris where a few years ago, she's out there saying that the audio clips are available, the video clips, where there was no agenda for black people.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
She actually said that what works for all Americans will also work for black people.
Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that.
But now she's going to reverse course because she's losing in this race and try to say she's going to do an agenda specifically for black men. I just don't think it's going to work. Number two, she's basically had 1,400 days to enact all these types of policies, and she's done nothing. Actually, not even spoke to any of these things. But now that we're 20 days until November 5th, now she wants to run out there with a specific agenda. Everybody knows it's phony and it's fake. It's pandering. It's just politics. And it's not real. At the end of the day, what black men are looking for, like all men in our country and all people, is an economic agenda that actually works to helping you grow your wages, have prices be stable, be able to build wealth, and to pass something on to the next generation. And it is crystal clear if you compare Kamala Harris's economic record to Donald Trump's economic record, that when Donald Trump was president, wages adjusted for inflation were significantly higher. People were able to save more. People were able to buy a home, and people were able to start building wealth. The Kamala Harris economic agenda has not been good for any American, including black men.
All right, so that's Byron Donalds, who is schooling that CNN host who really had nothing to say. The reason why she had nothing to say, because they basically brought on a white woman to counteract what a black man was saying, and that's a no-no in the media. I don't know if you've noticed, but every time they talk about the black vote, they got to make sure that there's black people on the set, because otherwise it could be misconstrued as racism, because everything is racism. Instead of talking data, she couldn't even answer him. So we're going to go into the data section right now, because I have to give you a preface on something. So we're gonna go back and look at history, and we're gonna look at exactly what has happened in history over the last couple elections. So let's look at this. I want you to pay attention to this. In 2008, Barack Obama was elected president. He won that in a 53, hope you guys can see this, a 53 to 45% victory over John McCain. 53 to 45, an 8-point victory. You got that? All right. In order to do that, Barack Obama got 95% of the black vote. McCain only got 4%. Huge discrepancy. So basically, Obama got all of the black vote. Hispanics went 67 to 31. You following that? All right. So now let's look at 2012. Barack Obama going for re-election against Mitt Romney. The final was closer, 51 to 47. Barack only won by 4 percentage points nationally. Of course, I'm not talking about the states. I'm talking nationally. He only won by 4%. This isn't a poll. These are actual numbers, or the actual numbers that were reported and recorded for history. 51 to 47. That's what the score was. All right? However, when you get down here, Barack Obama lost a couple percent of the black vote. He only won by 4, but he got 93% of the black vote. And he got 71% of the Hispanics. You follow? You follow? Okay. So now let's look at 2016, when Trump won. Now in 2016, when Trump won, Hillary actually won the percentage in terms of the popular vote. She won, let me see if you can see it over here, but she won 48 to 46, but lost because of the Electoral College. However, during that period of time, when she won the popular vote, she also got 89% of the black vote. And she won the popular vote, and she still got 89%, because it dropped down from where Obama was. And she got 66% of the Hispanics. Okay, you following? We follow. 2020 comes along. And whether we have discrepancies as to what happened, which many of us do, let's just look at the raw numbers. And the raw numbers are that Joe Biden won, as you can see over here, 51 to 46.8. So Biden won that vote by 5 points. That's very important for you to understand how things have been. Basically, there's been no election over the last 16 years, except when Obama beat the heck out of McCain. Most of the elections have been, on a national basis, between 4 and 6%. In order for the Democrat to win a 4%, 5%, 6% race, they've had to have an overwhelming amount of the black and Hispanic vote. So much so that in 2020, when Dementia Joe somehow won against Trump, the African American vote, again, 87% went, let me put it on here. 87, this is 2020, I hadn't put it up there. 87% went to Biden. Trump only got 12 and still only lost by 4.5 points. You follow me there? Joe got 87, Trump got 12, and somehow he only lost by, a smidgen, 4 points. Same thing with Hispanics, 65 to 32, as you can see. So, in essence, in order for a Democrat to eke out a win against a Republican, historically, they have to get 85% plus of the black vote to even win by 4%. Everybody understand that? Let me just look in the chat. Everybody got that math there? Because it's very important that you know, in order for a Democrat to win the election, they must receive 85+% of the black vote. Meaning, if a Democrat lost 5% of that black vote, then everything's even. So basically, Trump would only have to get to, when you're looking at the numbers here, all Trump would ever have to get to would be 17%, and it's even. What happens if Trump gets more than 17% of the black vote? Well, if you know your math, you know right now that's big poopy problems for the Democrats. And that's just at, these levels. And so what I'm going to show you in this video that we're doing right now is why she's having such a problem. Because you're taking people for granted, and at this point, may not all be her fault. It could be other people's fault. But because of black people being told and sold a bill of goods for years and decades. Hey, just vote for us and we're going to make some changes. It's going to be better, I promise. Yeah, just keep voting for us. We won't keep you in the hood. We won't keep you feeding stuff like little birdies on the plantation, just giving you a lit. You're going to prosper I promise we'll make sure that the white man, we don't want to hear it anymore.
Black men have to get over the fact that you got a woman on the ticket.
Right.
And are you afraid to vote for her is basically what he did and challenged them.
A damn shame. It's like, it's so insulting. Could you imagine a white man talking down to black people like that, particularly black men? That's our issue, women. It's not the fact that I don't have a job or my job is not existing or, I'm in a world where, by the way, progressives are erasing me from movies, from billboards, from opportunities. The Democratic Party, particularly progressives in Hollywood, Madison Avenue, Washington, D.C., Wall Street, they have erased the black man. There's no opportunities for black men anywhere in their world.
Yeah, they're actually, Charles, I have to disagree with you. There is a tremendous opportunity for black men who happen to be with other black men. I've seen commercial after commercial after commercial for different things and different products, and they're showing two men washing dishes, or they're out shopping for a car, or, you've seen it. You wonder, hey man, why are they doing this? Well, I'm telling you, they're antagonizing straight black men.
And I think a lot of it centers around what they perceive as to be too much toxic masculinity.
How many times have you heard that word? Remember I did that chart and I showed you all the different word salads that have been charted since like 2018, and they were flatline and then they went straight up. Toxic masculinity is one of those words. Nobody ever knew what the hell toxic masculinity was. It's called being a dude. We're dudes. We have testosterone. I mean, that is what it is. And now it's toxic. And you're trying to tell men of all colors that you shouldn't be like men. You should be more in touch with your feelings like the white dudes from Harris. I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to take that DNA out of men.
Hate black masculinity. They hate it. And they've gone to war with it. And black men have noticed it. And
I'm glad he said it because I don't want to get in trouble. I'll go back to the days of Mandingo. You guys may know the movie Mandingo. Forever, Hollywood has tried to show whether or not it's true that the black man was a symbol of superiority, especially in the bedroom, because most of us, you know. Yeah, right, honey? Yeah, But, we eat watermelon, we eat fried chicken, and we all got that thing. That's what Hollywood has told us. And now they're all saying, hey, wait a second, man. I understand that y'all gangbangers and holding this stuff on this. Ooh, he's up on that. Don't be like that. You don't got to be masculine. Go ahead and get with your feelings. This is Kamala Harris. So you spent eternity building up this persona of the black man and the Latin Hispanic dark lover. But now you're saying, hey, back off. Get in touch with your feelings. You want to take out something that's been ingrained in people and tell them now you don't need to be like that. You need to be in touch with your feels.
guess what? They're saying, we're not going to take it anymore. Give you an example. By the way, they're tired of being pimped. Mm-hmm. Brothers are tired of being pimped. Kamala Harris is going to do something to legalize marijuana. As they were pushing for all these states, the legalization thing, every time they put black people in the commercials, front row, it's opportunities for minorities.
Okay. Having been in marketing for quite some time, and you guys may have not seen it, it might have been subliminal to you. But back in the day, you used to notice if they were going to show, a family dining at Kentucky Fried Chicken, most of the time it was going to be, the brothers. It was part of marketing, which I don't really have a problem with. I don't call that stereotyping. I call that knowing my market. I know that if I turn on BET at certain times of the day, we're going to see credit approval. We're going to see no money down car, buy here, pay here places. We're going to see lawyer stuff. We're going to see Jerry Springer because that's marketing. They know that a certain audience loves to see this stuff, so they keep showing it. And then somehow, all of a sudden, you decide you want to tell men not to be like that, but still be wanting and needing good credit and all that. And we'll fix, you have to do all this stuff. but you're telling them they can't watch, Foxy Brown and all that stuff. Oh no, you can't watch Foxy Brown.
This is an article from 2022. Payne, talking about Congressman Donald Payne at the time, outraged that New Jersey denied cannabis licenses to all black-owned businesses who applied. To every single one. None. But they had the ads, black kids and black people making money from this. But when it came through, they gave them zero. They give them zero every single time. Every single time.
He's a little hot about this because it's insulting. It is so insulting to those of us who are black men. It actually should be insulting for all men.
And guess what? Black men are waking up. They're not wanted in the white progressive world. They are not wanted. And they're waking up to this and they're pushing back.
Wow.
Do you think that for those who are not inclined to vote for Kamala Harris, will they sit it out and not vote? Or will they vote for President Trump?
I think the majority will vote for President Trump.
Exactly. They're not sitting it out. Because once you get to the point where you're offending somebody, people are used to the lies. Many people have heard the lies for decades and decades and decades. This is going to work. This is not going to work. You've heard it all. But now you're lying to me. You are personally offending me. You're telling me I can't even be a man. That you shouldn't feel this way. And you want to take away weapons. It's not just white people who are going to get their weapons taken away from. Oh no. They want to take everybody's. And on top of everything else, newsflash, black men and black women also pay for gas, also buy groceries, also pay rent. That is not color. That's agnostic to color. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what you're buying at the grocery store. In fact, some of the stuff that black people buy at the store is actually more expensive than people, would get in a regular family, white family, whatever. Sorry about that. You see, the Cheetos still cost money. The pork rinds still cost money. They're more expensive. Y'all out here eating gourmet salads and stuff, and maybe the brothers in the hood ain't eating that, but they still have to buy stuff. They still have to get gas to go to the grocery store, and so it's hitting them in the pocket. And they know this. They absolutely know this. This is not going well for Kamala.
This is not a sort of a protest, you're going to miss me kind of thing. This is like, okay, this is a guy, by the way, for all of the media attacks against Trump, he has reached out to black voters from day one. Even when inside the Republican Party, all the experts, right? And we have a few of them who come through the building. It's a mistake like that, like when they say don't campaign here, don't campaign there. All these experts who, by the way, are not at the top of the ticket, told them not to reach out to black voters. This is from the very beginning. He goes to the Bronx. He goes to these different places. He's reached out to black voters in a way that no Republican candidate ever has.
Also, the problem that the libs have is that Donald Trump had a persona way before he ever ran for office. When you put him in all the movies and he's all the television shows and even the people in New York would buddy up to him, they've known him for quite some time. He is a public figure. He's been a public figure. They also know before he started before he started running for office, he was helping a lot of black people. Notice there's another commercial running with Kamala Harris right now, and she's like highlighting the fact that Donald Trump had taken out an ad looking for the Central Park 5 to be basically executed. At that time, everybody thought they did it. It wasn't like he said, string them up. we need to get these brothers off the street, string them up. No, everybody thought they did it. But what she doesn't do is tell anybody about what he's done to help black people. There's pictures of him with Muhammad Ali. There's pictures of him with Rosa Parks. There's pictures of him with Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. Oh, cozy up to him. They wanted his money. Hey, man, can you help us out? Here, I'll give you a couple bucks. Don't worry about it. Oh, they don't show that. No. But do they think not showing it means we all forgot? Again, you're insulting our intelligence. Hey, man, we remember this guy. He was in Home Alone. I saw Macaulay Culkin see him walking through Macy's. He was in the movie. And now all of Hollywood's like, oh my God, Trump. I'm like, hey, De Niro, you were in New York. You didn't say it back then. Never mentioned it. Not once. When he built the ice skating rink, did it for the people. When he took in Jennifer Hudson's family after she came home and found her family murdered, Donald Trump put him up in a hotel. His hotel. Stay as long as you need to. It's on me. Haven't seen that. Nope. But you think we forget? You think that a guy of his stature just showed up on this escalator in 2016, and then all of a sudden all the bad things you remember, but all the good things you forget? That's why I can't wait for Madison Square Garden's rally.
Despite the fact that they said, well, your return on investment will be nil, he still has gone out and done that, and people appreciate that.
Yeah, one more thing for that New York Times poll. 47% of African-American voters, a plurality, said crime in big cities had gotten out of control.
Sure.
Well, no duh.
Yeah.
They care about it, too.
Sure, of course, black people care about it. Listen.
That to me is the funniest thing. Why would you even ask that question? Hey, do you guys care about crime in your community? Is this candid freaking camera? What do you mean? Of course we care. But you're black. Why would you care about your crime? You live in crime. You're a criminal. Talk about a racist poll. Having to ask somebody, do you care about crime in your community? And expecting an answer. Different.
When I sit with my friends and we talk, yeah, they're all registered Democrats, and most of them are loathed, have never voted for a Republican. But when you listen to our conversations, you would think it was a room full of 10 Republicans. You know, I mean, it's time to say, hey, whether you talk out loud, because, you know, this whole cancel culture has been existing in our black community for a long time. Either you keep it real, but when you want to be yourself, it's not keeping it real, right? You keep it real or you kick.
Back in my concert promotion days, and Robin can tell you this, I promoted a concert. I did one with Snoop, and I've done another concert with Ice Cube. Ice Cube, not Ice-T, Ice Cube. And it was right after his big album came out. I didn't even have to use my AK right after the movie Friday, right? And he shows up. And when you promote concerts, you get to meet the people, obviously, because you're paying their reps. But you also have to get their rider put together, meaning you're going to take them out to dinner. What kind of food do you like? What do you want in backstage? What kind of catering is it? Okay, we got to make sure the limo's ready to get you from the hotel to the venue. Robin used to handle all that. And when we did Ice Cube, I was like, Robin, I don't want you dealing with these guys. They're little hardcore. She laughed at me. She goes, I already met them, and they're the nicest people you'd want to meet. I'm like, what do you mean? He came walking in the room. Hello, Mr. Cunningham. I'm like, wait a second. Oh, man, you're blowing my mind here. Wait, you're supposed to be going, what's up, bro? Nope. It's all an act. We had another, I'll get back to this in a sec. We had another show with a band called Onyx, which was another black rap artist we did down here in Miami. And their persona on their albums and their videos was, you know, the gangster rapping, the heads on screen, we're going to do it, yo. Well, we picked these guys up, and we've got the shuttle limo, and we're taking them from the airport to the venue. And the police in Opelika, there was something going on. And we pull up, and it must have been 30 police cars out there, guys with guns. I mean, it's a whole thing. They're freaking out. And we turn around. Ain't you hardcore rappers? Hey, man, we don't want none of this, okay? Is there another route we can go? True story. Hollywood has created personas. Some of these guys are bad dudes. Don't get me wrong. There's some really bad dudes. But not every black man is like they want you to think. And so when Charles is talking here, it's like, I got some black friends, man, and they have that, you know, culture woke stuff. They don't want other people to know what they really like. You know, hey, listen, I'm a black guy. I go eat sushi. You eat what? Yeah, you eat raw fish. The only raw fish I want to eat is, you know, the rest. but I eat sushi.
Out. People are saying, forget about it. I need to take care. Every one of these initiatives, by the way, Kamala Harris is talking about mentorship, apprenticeship. These are all buzzwords. You know, I'm 23 years old. Now you want to give me an apprenticeship? You're not even talking about long-term solutions for my children. None of this is for long-term. Oh, health initiative. Get the health initiative. Now they're going to help black people in health? They're going to expand screening, preventative screenings. That's not helping. That's not helping. That's the kind of thing when they tell black people go out and improve your credit. For what? To be a better consumer? I mean, all of this stuff is ridiculous. This is all the stuff this is in their bag of tricks. But the bags of tricks is old, it's got cobwebs on it, and it's left black people wanting and hurting in this country.
We didn't even hit K through 12 education.
It's all falling apart. One of the biggest problems that they're having, and you can hear them when they talk, is they talk about social media. We have to stop social media. We got to do something. We got to stop Elon. Too many people are talking. Because now we don't need the news to tell us what's really going on. Especially people in the black community. In the black community, you know, they were supposed to do this big thing and spend $1 gazillion on getting internet everywhere and basically bring it into the hood, never realizing that everybody's walking around and they're seeing it anyway. Why didn't they spend the $1 gazillion that they had bringing the broadband internet into the neighborhoods? Why did they not do it? Well, I'm telling you why they didn't do it. They didn't want black people having access to the same thing that you and I see. Even though I'm black, I have access, I'm doing this. They don't want that. Access means information. Information means freedom. Which is why they're trying to restrict it. They're trying to back it up. Hey, we don't want you to have all this broadband stuff, because then you see that we're basically full of crap. It's a scheme. It's a bad scheme, and it's running bad on them. I'm going to take a break in a second and talk to you guys about, get some of your comments. But I wanted to show you this. This is the thing that Kamala Harris rolled out. And Zuby, he's a big guy on X. What's he got? 1.2 million followers, black guy, rapper. He goes, this is bananas. So she put this out. Black men deserve a president who care about making their lives better. Kamala Harris will create an opportunity agenda for black men. So I'm going to go through these 5 bullet points, and you tell me where the opportunity is. We're going to provide 1 million loans that are fully forgivable, up to $20,000 for black entrepreneurs and others to start a business. No, what you're saying is we are. Government ain't got no money. So part of the taxing is, you're telling me you want to give out $20 million, right? Does it come out to 1 million? No, more than that. 1 million loans at $20,000 apiece. And they're not loans because they're forgivable. It's never going to happen. If these people haven't been trained, if they don't have entrepreneurial experience, then you're just giving away money that's going to be wasted. Because there's not 1 million individuals in a position right now to even open a business. What business? $20,000? You can forget just about any retail establishment. You're not going to be able to, go in and rent a shop and basically outfit it and do everything else you need to it for 20 grand. You're not going to get the equipment. You're not going to even be able to pay payroll for more than 30 days. It's a lie. Next thing, support education, training, and mentorship programs that lead to good paying jobs for black men, including pathways to become teachers. I have a question. Why in 2024 are you just talking about doing educational training and mentorship programs? What have you been doing for the last 50 years? Every single election year, we got to spend more money on education. We got to spend more money, with vocational schools. Same old shit. Nothing different. I mean, nothing different at all. And you're packaging like this is some great program we're going to bring to the black people. All right, so let's continue. Protect crypto. I love this one. Protect cryptocurrency investments so black men who make them know their money is safe. most black people don't know about cryptocurrency. It's not something the brothers are into right now. There are some who are savvy, but you're going to protect cryptocurrency investments so black men who make them know they're safe. How do you plan on doing it? That's why it's crypto. It is so idiotic. Okay, so I'm going to buy something with crypto because the person I'm buying it from wants to be anonymous and doesn't want to do different things, and you're going to protect me buying something or investing in something in crypto. How? Oh, you want me to tell the vendor that you need all the information, and the guy who's selling me the box of pens cheaper, because he's not paying taxes wherever he is, because I don't know where this money is going once I put in his Bitcoin key. Oh, yeah, well, that's fine, because we just need to track it. Just give us his information. Good luck with that. Then we're going to launch a national health initiative focused on the illnesses that disproportionately impact black men. I thought we had this thing called Obamacare. National health initiative. If you've got diabetes, if you've got AIDS, if you've got fill in the blank, you're telling me black men don't know to go to the doctor? Launch a national health initiative focusing on illnesses that disproportionately impact black men. I'm pretty sure if you scratch yourself and you bleed, you know where to go. I'm pretty sure if things are happening, you got the Obamacare. What the hell are you talking about? And how is this going to help you get black voters? And then the last one. This is just I'm going to help you by getting you high. Legalize recreational marijuana and create opportunities for black Americans to succeed in this new industry. Hey, I got a news flash. I don't think you have to do an initiative for that. I'm pretty sure if you want to get stoned, you can get stoned. And if you want to open, a medical marijuana shop, I guess that's where the 20 grand comes in, but I don't know how you're going to do that because you ain't going to have the money to basically retrofit your space. And you can't really sell your pharmaceutical medical marijuana out of the back of a car or with some clockers on the corner. Unless, of course, you're saying that's just new entrepreneurialism. You can just have a bunch of guys on bikes riding around a certain corner, and we're going to give you 20 grand so that you all can get stoned out of your mind. Who wrote this crap? I mean, seriously, who wrote that? That is desperation. We're going to give you money and give you drugs. Can you vote for me? Here's $20,000 and a whole bunch of pot. Trying to set the hook, aren't you? That's all you're really doing, is trying to get black people to bite onto something that has hurt the community all along. Nobody who wants to get high has had a problem getting high. It's pervasive. You can go anywhere. And you're talking about legalized recreational marijuana. Newsflash, there's no cops in those apartment buildings. You walk into some of those apartments and the smell will drive you crazy. The cops don't even want to arrest people committing assaults. And you think legalizing recreational marijuana is oh my God, I can get high now. I didn't know that. Jojo, go get us a whole ounce over there. What about the cops? Don't worry about the cops. We can all get high right here. How many people you know who get stoned out of their mind run entrepreneurial businesses? Seems kind of counterproductive, doesn't it? I'm just saying. I mean, I'm watching this show, Tulsa King, with, Sylvester Stallone, and he's opening up, all kinds of not even medical, it's just legalized marijuana joints. But you notice in that show, he doesn't smoke. He's the businessman mafioso. He doesn't smoke. Just saying. I know he had this past episode. He ate some edibles. That was funny. Marijuana is legal in Alaska, and I don't even care if people are getting stoned. Stone lives matter. I was on medical weed for cancer, and it's very expensive. You lose on that one, Kamala. I couldn't stand the weed, so quit it. I don't know, Jane. Maybe you weren't black. Barry shows, what's it? Hey, Barry, I remember when Maharishi used to say that eventually the beautiful black community would wake up and realize that the government has been chasing them to the... Yeah. I think it took the information blowout. I think once people now can talk to anybody, communicate with anybody anywhere in the country instantaneously, a lot of things changed. And like I'm doing this right now, I don't know who may see this. And there may be some black men somewhere who see this and go, yeah, he's right, man. This is crazy. We've been treated like dogs. Dogs. Promised stuff all along, you know. Yeah, $750 for the people up in the mountains is an insult. And they ain't even getting that. You're telling people you're going to give out million loans at 20 grand a piece, and people can't even get the $750 you promised last 2 weeks ago. Somebody said I love Tulsa King. So where was that? Somebody just said she's a drug dealer now. Yeah, Cheech and Chong loved those. Didn't miss a movie. Loved them all. Yeah, and you can definitely. This is a great comment. This is all happening because of Elon, and the word is spreading exponentially at this point. So I want to get through this. I'll come back and take some more comments, but it's just hilarious to me to just listen to what she has to say and how it just doesn't really, fit anymore. So the next piece I want to show you, and this is kind of funny. This is Laura Ingraham, and she brought out a couple guys who, again, were like, what is she talking about? We're no longer like that. Yeah, that's another thing. Do you realize, as much as they talk about the poverty levels in the hood is changing, because a lot of people are like, I don't want to live like this anymore. Whereas the Democrats are still like, we're going to keep you happy in the hood. Here, puppy doggy, stay there, and here's your EBT card, and here. But the problem is that the EBT cards have now become more for the newcomers than for the black people. We don't need you anymore. You guys are getting uppity. You guys are deciding you want to vote for that Republican. So we're going to focus on these people. Man, you don't even know.
Joining me now is Xavier DeRousseau, a former BLM activist, and Anton Daniels, a YouTuber, content creator. Xavier, let's start with you. You say you were personally, after watching them, offended.
I'm sorry. Your job is a content creator? Is that a new job? Yes, ma'am. And you don't need a government? No, ma'am. Don't need them.
By Obama's comments?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, Obama's not as talented of a liar as he used to be. But quite frankly, my ancestors fought way too hard for me to...
Oh, wait a second. Maybe I should have screened this. So, wait. I can't make any judgments, but it appears as though Mr. Blonde-haired black man may be of the affiliation that's not who normally the Republicans are, if you know what I mean. And I think you do. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I find it odd that an apparent alternative lifestyle guy, number one, he's on Laura Ingram's show, and number two, he's telling Obama to stick it.
Have the ability to...
This ain't your mama's black... This ain't your mama's black people.
Learn how to read. Just for Obama to expect me to be so uneducated to think that I would vote for Kamala Harris simply because she claims to be a black woman. And I mean, if people want to stop having Kamala Harris be called a DEI hire, maybe he should stop trying to remind us of her demographic
If you want her to stop being called a DEI hire, then stop putting up a DEI hire. Maybe that's what you need to do.
Every 5 minutes. Black men not supporting Kamala has nothing to do with her being a woman. It has everything to do with her lack of accomplishments over the last 1,359 days.
Go ahead, boy.
Well, Anton, I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, the shtick is kind of worn thin with Obama, How you doing, Pittsburgh? That whole, it just seems very 2002 or 2008, I should say. Right? It doesn't quite have the same appeal, as megastar-ish as he is.
You know, it's a Hail Mary pass considering that we did vote him in based off of identity politics. And I'm not saying that all is bad, because he did do some things that I didn't necessarily disagree with that Trump absolutely did better than him. But at the same time, I felt that it was incredibly disrespectful because he's making the assumption that we're not educated enough to lead our families, to look at the policies, to understand exactly what's going on with immigration. And we're supposed.
Do you know why he feels that way? Because it's worked. It has worked for decades to tell black men, you're too stupid. Remember, not too long ago, Kathy Hochul came out and said black men don't know how to use, or black people don't know how to use a computer. And somebody made a video of the person go, because what do you mean we don't know how to use a computer? That's insulting. Black people don't know how to get an ID. What? I come from a decent-sized family of black people, and I can tell you everybody has had an ID their entire life, basically, their adult life. But this is the crap that it's 2024, and they're still saying asking for ID is oppressive in the black community. Show me these black people who don't have an ID. I'd love to meet someone in the black community who raises their hand and says, I don't have an ID. Instead of bitching about it, why don't you go help them get one? Because there's probably like 5. Unbelievable.
To overlook everything that they did over the last 3.5 years that was not in our favor. And when I say our, I'm talking about the American people, let alone men, let alone black men.
That's what they really don't like. You notice how he just said that. It came out of his mouth. And it's something that the Democrats have hated. See, the hyphen was gone. Did you notice what he said? He said Americans. He didn't say African Americans. That they held on to that for so long. They still continue to say it. Black American, no, you're an American. Now that black people are raising up and saying, no, we're Americans. Don't put the hyphen in here anymore.
And we're supposed to vote for her because of some misogynistic reason that's made up. And instead, we've learned how to educate ourselves, and now they've sent their Messiah back to rein us in and bring us back into the Democratic plantation. And most men that I've spoken with have said that it's absolutely disrespectful, and we're done with Obama.
Well, Xavier, again, when he says, you're lucky Michelle's not here, he does. What is that supposed to mean? I mean, I guess
that was a bad thing for him to say, because he enhanced the stereotype I told you about earlier. Y'all lucky Michelle not here. Well, what's that witch gonna do? You think she gonna whoop me into shape here because she's a black woman? You just basically reinforced that stereotype, which means now I need to really not vote for Kamala.
It's supposed to be funny because she'll scold them in a more convincing or scarier fashion. It's kind of treating young black men as children, almost like you're children, and mommy's coming back and mommy's going to chastise you and you're going to get punished. But you're supposed to vote against your own economic interests to make Michelle and Barack happy and their 4 mansions?
It's absolutely degrading, and black men are sick of being reduced to being expected to think with our skin color. We have seen how terrible the Obama, Biden, Harris trilogy has been for our country. It has completely demoralized our country, and quite frankly, Obama has no credibility because this is the same man who heavily endorsed Joe Biden, and we all can feel in our pockets, and we can see it for sure at our border.
Let me stop you there. Remember when this thing happened with Joe Biden, when they had to usher him out? It was literally a week beforehand when Obama and Clooney were having that big fundraiser out in California, I believe, where Obama was dragging him off. That was before the debate. Nobody said anything. It wasn't until like a week later when he fumbled everything at the debate where they go, we need to kick him to the curb. So you were lying to the American people all along. You knew that Dementia Joe was demented, and you did nothing whatsoever.
How terrible the Biden-Harris administration has been for our country, and Obama admitted himself back in an interview with Steve Colbert that if he could, he would run our country from an earpiece down in the basement, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's exactly what he's doing.
Now, Xavier, Anton, the media are really pushing Obama. to be the, rescue agent for Kamala's campaign. Watch this.
Barack Obama, with joy and with humor, is able to sort of get through to an audience that it's not okay to lie.
How infantile do they think the black demographic is? With joy and humor. She didn't say any substance. You didn't show people how they could have a better life. I can make you laugh, and it's joyful.
It's not okay to sell the presidency. It's not okay to be a narcissist and to have the reins of the presidency.
Anton, so Kamala's joy campaign isn't really working. So Obama's going to...
The reason why she's doing a joy campaign, because everybody now realizes she got nothing else to say. And then they're talking about lies. Now you got people like ABC, I posted it early on Twitter, they're starting to debunk her stuff. She can't say anything truthful. Nothing. I mean, literally, if you watch one of her speeches, it's the same stuff. Now I understand, and I've said this to people, I don't come down too much on the repetition of her speeches. What I have a problem is the repetition when people ask her a question. Today, Trump had a masterclass with Bloomberg. He sat there and he was in his element because they wanted to talk to him about the economy. Doesn't need notes, doesn't need a teleprompter. Ask me a question about money, I got you. And he boom. In fact, at one point, he schooled the moderator. Hey, listen, I know you want to say this. It's not true. Here's why it's not true. And the people in the audience gave him a standing ovation. And that was at Bloomberg.
Come in, and again, you're supposed to make less money in real terms,
right,
and be happy with it to make Obama and like MSNBC happy? I don't understand this argument.
They took the same blueprint that got Obama elected, and he was a first for us, right? So our grandparents and our parents and things like that wanted to see this happen, but they were largely voting out of ignorance and voluntary ignorance because they only wanted that identity politics in order to push him through into the presidency. But admittedly, where he was charismatic, she isn't. And so we can see through her. She's a chameleon. When they unleashed her and they allowed for her to be able to take reporters' questions.
You see, Obama was polished. He was an orator. He spoke, and he sounded great, as as Joe Biden said. He's a black man, and he can talk, and he's clean, and it's good. People didn't even realize what was happening. Again, there was nothing behind him. It was just the novelty. And he was able to garner, as I showed you earlier, 97, 98% of the black vote. And still only eked out this much over Romney and McCain.
And things like that. It showed that she was completely incompetent. And frankly, not only do we feel disrespected, but I'm uncomfortable with Obama standing in front of us trying to scold us and then divert our attention away from the things that's really meaningful, especially for our families. I'm not comfortable.
See, that's a big problem, too. There are too many black men now who actually care about their families. See, that wasn't something that was ever supposed to happen. You're supposed to have as many babies out of wedlock as possible. We needed to have the black baby count be, 75% out of wedlock, 70, 80%. That means that there would always be a chicken looking up, hoping to be fed. But I think this is where the baby removal really backfired on them. Because the more you push the baby removal, the more the men who had sense wanted to have families. I have a family. My brother has a family. It's not like it used to be where it was just some freewheeling guy in the hood who couldn't keep his thing in his pants. They're seeing that begin to basically rise, and it's driving them absolutely crazy.
With him, I don't want to hear any more messages of hope. I don't want to hear any more messages of joy. I can feel it with my pocketbooks. My friends can feel it with their pocketbooks, and we're ready for him to get out of our way.
I mean, Xavier, I saw something on YouTube. I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was Instagram. But it was a young man, African American, and he was talking about the price of food. And I think he was at some fast food place. I can't remember what. I think it might have been McDonald's. But just the nuts and bolts, when you go through just what a Happy Meal costs, the differential in simple things that families like to treat themselves to, that's shocking. Like in Obama, that doesn't affect him. It doesn't affect Hillary. It doesn't affect Trump. But Trump somehow has that ability to say, that's not acceptable in America.
You know why? Because Trump has people that he works with who aren't at the top of the food chain. If you remember, and if you knew the stat, but like 90% of Kamala's staffers leave. They get fired, they leave, they quit. Nobody wants to be around her. Whereas you look at Trump and what he's done as he built his real estate empire and his other businesses, he did that by making sure people stayed with him. People have stayed with him 15, 20, 25 years and have made it up the chain because he treated them well. And he still likes his hamburgers.
But they think Obama's charm is going to override daily life for people. The charm offensive from him, it's not 2008 any longer.
I can't emphasize enough that being a young black voter, it feels like the Democrats are constantly trying to gaslight me about my own reality. I know how expensive food is. I know how expensive gas is. And I know how many illegal immigrants are running around in Los Angeles. We are sick and tired of being expected to feel good with Barack Obama, or now they're trying to put the ovarian version of Barack Obama up there and tell us that she is
the ovarian version. Oh my God.
Talented. She is absolutely not talented. And on behalf of black men, it's not that we're opposed to having a female president, because Miss Ingram, I would love to vote for you if you ever decide to run.
Only if you guys are in my cabinet. That's the only way I'm going to do it. Xavier and Anton, thanks for spending time with us on a Friday night. We appreciate it.
That interview right there must have sent shivers across the Democrat Party. How could this guy, this blondie black guy, be okay with everything Trump's doing? I saw in one of the comments somebody said that he is basically a content creator for Prager, which was fantastic. That is awesome. So this next piece, before I get to the next piece, I want you to remember back an hour ago when I showed you how much Obama won by. First against McCain, and then against, what's his name? Mitt Romney. And I showed you that they both got, when his two victories, he was in excess of 90% of the black vote. And still, only won by that much. And then I showed you Hillary, who actually won the popular vote in defeat, and she got 85%. And then I showed you the same thing with Dementia Joe. 85%. Just to have a margin. All right? So just remember that as you're about to watch this piece. You needed 85 to 90% to eke out a tiny win. This is what I've been telling you guys for months. This is why I've been saying over and over, can't win. She can't possibly win. Watch this.
And sometimes there's a trend line that I never noticed before and make me go, whoa. This is one of them, all right? This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go.
So why this is funny to me is I've been telling you for months, this guy considers himself a statistician, an analyst, a pollster. This isn't new data. He had to have seen the same data I've been seeing. He had to have been noticing the trend line. Your only job, you got one job, man. You got one job, is to look at numbers. You don't do anything else. You just look at numbers. And it took you till yesterday to just realize this trend that you're going, oh, I see a lot of numbers, but oh my God, this is a lot. No, you've known this, dude. You're just letting everybody else know now.
Back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63.
Only.
Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012. And this, I think, is, when Barack Obama goes in last week when he was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, essentially talking to young black men, he made it seem like it was a Kamala Harris specific problem. This is part of a long-standing trend of young black men moving away from the Democratic Party, and Kamala.
All right, so not to pat myself on the back, but I will with both hands. That's what I've been telling you. I've been watching this. I've been living it. I've actually been living it. But I've been telling you this. I've told my wife this years ago. I mean, literally years ago. And back to 2016, if Trump can tip, or any Republican can start chipping off on that. Now you see the numbers directly in front of you. Any of you who went to high school, you don't even have to be a college mathematician. Any of you, we're simulcasting this on Twitter, so hey, Twitter over there. Any of you who have been able to go through first year algebra or calculus or whatever, I'm asking you right now to tell me if Biden only won by 4 or 5 points, if Hillary won the popular vote by 2 points, and Obama needed basically 95%, how in the hell is Kamala Harris even close to Trump? I challenge anybody to tell me somebody who lost 40 points off of what Obama has done. What this means is she's down in the 60s and 70s. Remember, Obama had 95. So if she's 40 points off of his, she's down around 55. There is no mathematical chance in hell that she can make up that number. This is what I've been looking at for months. This is the only poll I ever had to look at because I knew nobody else was talking about it. And I would sit back and I would talk to you guys and I would watch and I'd watch and I would dig in. And I'm like, I'm still seeing it. I'm still seeing this methodology that nobody wants to talk about, that she's getting destroyed in the black community. I mean, as you just saw, destroyed. And nobody would talk about, this is a neck and neck race. Oh, it's 48-48. Oh, they're neck and neck. And I'm like, all these people with intelligence are telling everybody on television, printing articles, and nobody was talking about this. That how the hell could somebody, even Joe Biden, who won by 4 or 5 points, she's not even close to him. There's no mathematical solution. There's no formula. You can't use the Pythagorean theorem. There's nothing you can do to make up that number, especially in 2 weeks. I don't care if you brought newcomers in. It ain't happening.
Harris is just the latest to face that magnitude of younger black men going towards the Republicans.
That was most interesting here is the trend line and where some of the biggest drops happened or already happened.
Just so you know how these guys have been bullshitting you, excuse my language, for years, is that trend line began in 2012. And you're telling me it isn't to basically October of 2024 that nobody's like raising a red flag going, Houston, we got a freaking problem. Things are sliding really fast. What are we going to do? But nobody talked about it. And I've been charting it all along. My wife can tell you that. I've made her crazy. I'm like, I have an easy way for the Republicans to win. I remember telling her that probably in 2013, 2014. Here's an easy way for the Republicans to win. It's very simple. Start talking to some black people. And when you start talking to some black people, you're never going to win the black vote. You just have to get a good enough share where they don't have it all. I did math. Ashley's a math teacher. She's watching this and she's probably like, well, there's no possible way. I hope you guys can see that. Even with rigging it, it is going to be extremely hard to overcome that kind of a trend line, which they've all known about. They've just BS'd you for years.
In this case, how about black men overall?
How about black men overall? It's part of the same picture, you know.
No, it's worse. Now that was the first one was black men, younger black men, 18 to 44. Now he's showing you black men overall. You seeing these numbers? Look at those numbers.
We're looking once again, if younger black men, it looks like the worst Democratic performance since 1960, since JFK versus Richard Nixon.
Worst performance since 1960. And you just found out today, or whenever this ran, a couple days ago. when anyone with a mind who's looked at this data, and I've been telling you for months, every single one of you know, where the hell is Barry getting this information? Why does Barry keep talking about the black vote? What, you got a crystal ball or something? No, I be mathing. That's what happens. And what's so funny, I watch so many other YouTubers who can't touch it because most of the guys are white, and so they won't dig into this. And maybe that's the problem, because people won't analyze it because it might be a little bit touchy for them. And I'm looking at this going, this shit ain't close. And I would do all kinds of extrapolations and numbers, and I'm like, nobody else is seeing this? Am I the only one seeing it? Am I the only one that was seeing this trend line for the last 12 years? It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's the same thing among black men overall. Again, part of a similar trend, but here actually the drop-off isn't as dramatic, right? Barack Obama won him by 85, then you see 71 with Clinton, 69, Biden, basically the same thing, holding steady. But here, again, very, very weak, only a 54-point margin. Now, again, still winning them by a large margin, but considerably lower than what we're used to, certainly considerably lower what we had during the Obama years. The bottom line is Kamala Harris with younger black men and then black men overall putting in historically weak performance for a Democratic
candidate. Is she getting any relief with black women?
All right. So, we're talking about the...
Okay, because the black vote would also encompass the black women, right? Right. Okay, let's talk about the black women.
Trend line, right? And black women, look, she's doing better with black women than she is doing among black men. But here...
She's getting crushed. She's doing better, but she's still getting crushed. She's 14 points off of what Joe Biden was. 14 points. She is literally 22 points from where Clinton and Obama were. In other words, black people are starting to go, no, it ain't happening. Imagine this. More black people voted for the white woman, Hillary Clinton, than are voting for the somewhat black woman. If that's not a slap in the face, I don't know what is. I mean, when I look at these numbers, and again, I've been looking at them for quite some time, trying to tell you, hey, I'll wait. Somebody tell me how this doesn't work. All you on Twitter, bitching, Harry, whatever his name, Sisson, tell me how it works. I'll be mathing. I'll be adding. None of it makes any sense, and yet they continue with this BS on the news.
Here, there isn't a trend line almost until we get to Kamala Harris. So again, this is a black margin among black women. Look, Obama won him by 93, very large margin. Clinton won him by 93, a very large margin. Biden did a little bit worse at 85, but then you look here, and you get a 71-point margin. Now, again, these are large margins, but the bottom line is when you're talking about the base of the Democratic Party, you would think that Kamala Harris would do very well among black women based upon history, and of course she would be the first black woman president, but she's actually doing the worst for a Democratic candidate among black women since 1960, if this holds, John.
And again, when you look at the numbers, Harry, whenever you come in, looking at the trends is probably the most important thing.
You got it, my friend.
Thank you very much.
He said if it holds. Do you think in the next 20 days there's going to be some epiphany? People are going to go, oh, you know what? I was wrong. I know I'm a black man. I know I'm a black woman. Yeah, we should all just change and go vote for Kamala. It ain't going to change. It's probably going to get worse. I'll take some comments from you, but damn. Now y'all see what I've been talking about. They will have to hack the voting machines to switch the. It's going to have to be something crazy. Let's see what the shit is, because she's not black. her world salad isn't helping her. The Marxist talking points. Nope. Used to maybe she enjoyed Hunter Biden. She's not black. See, that's a big thing too. See, that's a really big thing. It's insulting to many, 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 many people because they know what she said she was, and now you're trying to basically run on the coattails of Obama, and now you're trying to, basically embrace it. But no, other than being black by injection because of Montel Williams, whatever his name was, nope, you're not. Sorry, you're not. We've seen the pictures. We know what you eat. No, it didn't happen. So, sorry. It's going to get worse, Marcus says. Yeah, I think it's going to get worse. The Democrat Party of 1960 has turned into Republicans of the 2000s. Awesome comment. You're so right. Because you know, and I know, and they know, that John F. Kennedy could not get elected in the Democrat Party today. Couldn't happen. But shit, RFK Jr. can't get elected in the Democrat Party of today. Remember JFK's signature speech. I hope I get this right. I don't have it on teleprompter. Ask not what your country can ask not what your country can do for you. Ask instead what you can do for your country. You know, that flips the script. Hey, what can I do to make this country better? Democrats today don't want to do that. How can I be more independent? What can I do to improve this country? That was the Democrats in the 1960s, white and black. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. That was the Democrat Party back in 1960. If you haven't heard that quote, go look it up. That was John F. Kennedy's famous speech about where he wanted to take this country, and it got him blowed up to where we are now. And then his brother got blowed up. And then I posted a video about it, and they took it off. Nope, can't have you showing that. So your quote, your comment is the comment of the day. The Democrat Party of 1960 has turned into the Republicans of the 2000s. Awesome. Awesome. American pride. Yeah, I think it's where we are now. I'm looking at some of this stuff. So I want to show you 3.5 years middle class, never been to Europe, cackling Kamala. Is Kamala really a woman? So now I want to show you something. Yeah, we definitely have to make it too big to rig. That is it. So all hope is not lost, though. You know, because you know they're not going down without a fight. So in order to make sure it doesn't go down without a fight, they still need the media trying to coalesce the idiots who still may be out there. The ones who, don't want to be Americans, that still want to, basically do the other stuff and protest and be BLM. And so they can always count on this nutbag.
At this point, you can't call what Trump is running a campaign. As friend of the show David Corn points out in Mother Jones, what Trump and J.D. Vance and House and Senate Republicans are running is a massive disinformation campaign.
I understand all we've seen is Kamala Harris make stuff up. But this gets aired on a national newscast. At the same time, these news people are trying to tell people we need to stop Elon Musk because, misinformation.
Aimed at warping Americans' reality. And they're doing it with violent, terrifying, and sometimes bizarre conspiracy theories that set the table for maybe armed resistance to a Kamala Harris win.
Just so you know, somebody had to write this and put it on a teleprompter in front of her so she could read this pablum and try to put as much emphasis in it as possible to try at this late date to influence idiots. Unfortunately for her, she's mainly reaching white idiots.
Or mass acceptance of American fascism. Trump and Republicans backed by far right-wing billionaires like Elon Musk and right-wing media and anti-woman manosphere podcasts are creating.
Ooh, that's a mouthful. I'm glad they had her off camera because she probably had to read that like 5 times. Anti-woman manosphere podcast. It's working, Trump. The fact that she had to say that Trump is out there on anti-woman manosphere podcast. So she's going to hate him being on Joe Rogan. Today he was on with Bussin' in the Boys, a couple of former NFL players. And the other day he was on Andrew Schultz. And on and on and on. And those are anti-woman manosphere podcasts. I can't even respond to that.
Social media or gaming social media apps like X, Twitter in Trump's favor and pumping disinformation into the brains of Trump supporters. Not quite foreign interference.
I guess she'd really hate the fanfare community, which I saw the poll, over half of you haven't joined yet. What you waiting for? Because we got to make sure Joy understands that's what we're doing. We're running an anti-woman manosphere podcast.
Interference, but not exactly different from what Vladimir Putin would do.
Russia. Hey, Joy, how do you know what Vlad would do? Just asking.
And in many ways, the disinformation campaign is working. Base Republicans today believe everything from Democrats secretly manipulating the weather from a...
I'm pretty sure I've seen some people who actually produced... See, this is where it gets really funny, really interesting. They call things conspiracy theories. It's all conspiratorial. You know, you guys are just spouting this. And then when you basically get an article and go, it's right here. Actually, it's not an article. It's a NASA document. Oh, here's a trademark patent filed with the United States government. I guess it's not conspiratorial anymore. But they don't want you to know that, which is why they want to shut down your communications. They don't want you understanding that.
Secret base in Alaska to Trump being incapable of losing this election. He's winning in a landslide.
She's right there.
And some Democrats are starting to believe the disinformation too. Have you?
So why don't you go bitch at them? Get it. So now she's mad that other Democrats who have brains are looking at this and going, hey man, this might be really bad. So what was the point of that statement? Telling them they're stupid? Don't listen to them. I'm telling you the truth here.
Noticed how sharply the polls have shifted in Trump's favor over the last couple weeks?
Okay, so this is where I have to interject and tell her she's a buffoon. The polls shifted. The numbers never shifted. Your pollsters were putting out fake information because I've been talking and showing you the polls for months. They do that so that it helps the Democrats, and hopefully it'll convince enough Democrats to get out and vote, but then eventually towards the end they have to change because they risk their own credibility for those people who still listen to the polls.
With these claims that Trump is surging with black and Latino voters and leading in every single swing state, according to secret internal polls, despite all the Hitler talk. Yes, this race will be far too close. Because unfortunately, we do have a fascist groundswell in parts of this country.
First of all, she's so hard to look at. It's very hard. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so shallow, but damn, woman. I mean, damn. And then the second part, the words she uses, the thesaurus that she brings out to write her script and put it on a teleprompter, it's so over the top, lady. If you believed what you really believe, just say it. You don't need a teleprompter. It sounds nice. You're trying to use some Harvard education to try and convince people. If you believe it, just say it. You don't need a teleprompter with all the big wording.
Mainly among white men, let's be clear, but in small pockets among black and brown men too. This happens to be a global phenomenon as women become more economically independent and seek positions of power.
Oh, that's your problem. There you go. You don't want men being men. That's what it's all about. I know you're basically bare, excuse my language, you don't have anyone at home, so that's what it's all about. Woman, hear me roar. Now understand, I'm not saying anything wrong about that. I got one of the most independent wives you'd ever want to meet. I mean, sometimes I used to think she could take me, and there's many times where I'm kind of afraid of her. I'll be the first to admit that. I'm a big guy, but you're not mad, are you, honey? I mean, some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about when you say you're afraid of your wife. I don't mean afraid of her hurting me, but like, she makes the food. She's the one who feeds me. Things could get really, really ugly if she's mad at me. Also, I sleep really hard. And so if she wanted to like bash me over the head with something while I'm sleeping, I wouldn't have nothing to do. So yeah, there's a little bit of fear there.
But friend of the show, Simon Rosenberg, points out that just like in 2020 and 2022, dozens of right-wing polls have been dumped into the marketplace in the last few weeks.
Your friend, Simon Rosenberg. Hey, Simon, how you doing, man? You doing well? Okay. So, question for you, Simon, since you're dropping data. You got any data on the black vote? You have any data historically like the other dude on CNN showed? Because I guess maybe the MSNBC audience don't want to see that, right? So you're just going to show what you want them to see because you don't want to show them the real data.
12 in Pennsylvania alone. Those polls then swing the polling averages to the right, making Trump look strong and Kamala Harris look stalled.
Hey, Joey, anyone with eyes can see that this woman doesn't look strong at all.
Now, there are lots of explanations for why you'd want to game the polls. Entrepreneurial Republican pollsters can certainly gain favor with Trump, who's apparently fuming about Vice President Harris's billion-dollar fundraising and positive press.
Fuming? He looked like he was quite comfortable to me last night. We're going to see at 7 o'clock, but he's probably going to be kind of comfortable again. He did look very comfortable in the Bloomberg interview, so I'm not sure what she means.
And then there's the more sinister explanation that if Trump, Republican pollsters, and even jittery Democrats convince enough people...
So now she's pissed at Democrats, too.
...that his victory is inevitable, how much easier would it be to claim that the election was stolen if he loses? And how much easier would it be to get his base to rise up and maybe even get violent the way they did when he lost the last time? How much easier would it be to get the Republican House Speaker or John Roberts and the right-wing Supreme Court conservatives to throw the election to Trump? These are the things we need to consider. Donald Trump is not running a normal election. He's talking America into damn near a civil war to terrify voters into supporting him. And if that doesn't work, he's laying the groundwork for Insurrection 2.0.
Now you realize they're done. Now they're already talking about Insurrection 2.0. That's what Trump is really doing. He's not running a normal campaign. A normal campaign to them these days means you stay in your basement, ignore everybody, and don't take any questions. Because that's obviously what a normal campaign is now. Don't do any interviews. Repeat the same mantra. Tell everybody your enemy wants to put him in jail because, he wants to be a dictator on day one. Lie to everybody, obfuscate, do whatever you do, gaslight. That's a normal campaign in her eyes. What Trump's doing, out there talking in front of, 100,000 people, that's not real. 100,000 people, Joy. Are you saying the entire 100,000 people that were in that field in California are all fascist? Stupid fascists being brainwashed by Donald Trump? Is that what you're saying? You sound ignorant. Actually, you sound scared. And maybe you should be. Because all this is coming to an end. It's all going to change. Come November 5th, you're going to put on a different wig or run around and scream like the rest of everybody else on the panel on MSNBC will, and you're going to be talking about how Kamala Harris didn't do this when she should have done that, and that for some reason black men didn't decide to vote for her. You're going to have all 4 years to wonder what happened when it's right in front of you. You ran a crappy campaign, you ran a crappy candidate, and then you had a demented president, and people are over it. And then you let in millions of people and told them that's what they had to deal with. They had to accept it. You changed the language. You told us we couldn't say certain words that we can't even say when we're making videos. You did all this. Every single bit of it. You raised the gas prices. You raised the grocery prices. You raised rent and mortgage and interest rates. And you just expected everyone to just say, yeah, it's okay, it's Kamala. Everybody is over it. You ran a one-topic campaign, and you expected everybody to vote for this single idea of revolutionizing baby disposal. That was it. You got nothing else to offer. I told you before during a debate, Trump should just have walked out and said, excuse me, can we just go ahead and concede this point to them? Because I don't really give a crap about that. So y'all can have baby disposal. All right, now let's talk about the rest of this stuff. Because all you have, Kamala's got nothing. When she talks about, hey, we're going to chart a new way forward. We're going to do things different. You expect people not to realize this woman is the current vice president of the country. And that, as everyone has said, day one was 1,400 days ago. Every single day that you have been in office, during your campaign, you should have went down the hall to Joe and said, close the border for me. If you close it now, it'll really make people think I'm doing something. Never happened. Joy, you never said anything about it. CBS, the rest of you, you never said, Kamala, go close it now. It'll really help you in the polls. It'll really help people think you're going to do something. I mentioned my wife earlier. Guys, you know this. You screw up with the woman, you just don't say, I'll do it better next time. As the wife always says, show me. Show me you're going to do it better. All right, I'll put the toilet seat down. I'll take out the garbage. I won't be a slob. Don't tell me. Go in here and clean the damn room. Oh. Don't miss the garbage truck on Thursdays and Mondays. Go do that. Don't let me see you not doing these things, and I'll know you're going to change. You're going to do this moving forward. I remember when I lived in Connecticut, and my mom would get mad at me. Oh, well, I'll do it next time. Next time is now. Get out there and shovel this snow. But it's cold out. Get your ass outside and shovel this snow. You can't tell me you're going to do it. Do it. Kamala Harris never was taught this, I guess, with her family. She didn't have any kids, so I guess she never put that into kids. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Frickin' do it. Do it now. That's why nobody believes her. That's why nobody believes Timmy. Because if you're going to do it, you do it. You've had... I don't know how she ran this campaign without somebody saying it to her. You can do it right now. Show them you're going to do it in the future. Did nothing. Just let it happen. And you guys are in relationships. You know. Somebody can't tell you they're going to do something in the future if they have the power to do it right now. Every single guy, you know what I'm talking about. You left the toilet seat up. You haven't taken out the garbage. You played the music too loud if you're a kid. Everything that you do to affect someone else's life in your home, you can change it today. But, hey, give me this, and then I'll change it in January, okay? Do that. Honey, I'll take care of that in a couple months, okay? No, man, you've been married. You need to change things up. Just like with any interpersonal relationship. You don't change, that person may not be there. I need you to do this. Oh, I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. Until there's no one to promise it to. And that's what's happening with the Democrat Party. They have promised so much to the black community. And you've seen, anybody could see it. The trend line has gone like this, straight down. You promised, you didn't do it. You promised, you didn't do it. You promised, you didn't do it. We don't want to hear it anymore. I'm sorry for the other 50% out there who's still waiting. Yeah, she's probably going to do it. Well, I hate Trump. But it's going, one thing about people who know math, trend lines don't stop, especially when you're looking at a trend line over 12, 15 years. This is a dying party. They know they are a dying party, which makes them desperate, which is why they did what they did before, but we got to make sure they don't do that this time. Let's see. Keep doing an awesome job, Barry. I love seeing the truth. I hope the people on Twitter know. Girls do get upset with the toilet seat. I lived with a bunch. Oh, yeah. They will say something, too. Everybody forgets the first day Dementia Joe took office. All the newcomers had criminal acts across the border with Biden T-shirts. Yep. They brought them all in on purpose. When am I doing another poll watching show? I think the polls, I mean, you're seeing the polls. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I mean, you've got, oh, I do want to tell you something else beforehand. All right, so she talked to, see, I almost forgot all this stuff. So I showed you Zuby. I had a bunch of stuff lined up. Let me finish up here, and then I'll take some more comments. Real quick. I love this thing here. This officer little guy on Twitter goes, Barack Obama, and this is a black man, Barack Obama lecturing black men is like a deadbeat dad not speaking to his kids for a decade and then showing up like he has some kind of authority. And this was a gif with, don't want to hear it, man. We don't want to hear it. Oh, great. I love that one. Trump, I will protect black jobs from the impacts of mass newcomers. Media, oh, that's so racist. Kamala, to win black voters, I'm proposing free money and drugs. The media, oh, it's such a good idea. Free money and drugs. Wow, how insulting is that? Peter Schiff, an economist guy. Kamala is bribing black men into voting for her by promising 1 million fully forgivable loans up to $20,000 to black entrepreneurs looking to start or grow a business. Such a racist program would not only be unconstitutional, but like the PPP loans fraught with fraud. I don't know how they get that approved. You want to do what? Yeah, well, I want to give $20,000 loans just to black people. Okay? No, that's not going to work. Henry Rogers. This was a big one. You're going to see this happen. It's going to cause problems. Andrew Schultz, the guy on the left here in the white, is the guy who did the Flagrant podcast with Trump. Charlemagne the God, the black man on the side, is Charlemagne the God who has the big radio show. So it says, Charlemagne on Trump's interview with Andrew Schultz, a young black man in his 20s came to me and said Flagrant is going to get Trump elected. That Flagrant interview with Trump has nearly 4.5 million views. That's the anti-woman manosphere podcast that Trump's going on, and people are talking about it. They're not talking about it. I can't believe if she tries to do Rogan, it will be funny. Now I got to show you a couple things. These are funny. So if you guys don't know who AB84 is, that's Antonio Brown, who used to be a receiver with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was also with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, kind of went off the rails with them, but for some reason, and he lives down here in Hollywood and Miami, he's become a huge Trump supporter. And he's got, let me see here, 2.2 million followers on his Twitter. He's been all over it. I mean, some of it's not suitable to put on screen here, but he's been all over it. So he says, he's talking about Kamala and how she's talking about this job thing, right? You had 16 out of 20 years to create the agenda. We're tired of false promises and woke agenda. Black men who want to be successful, we know what the market will do with Trump. Stop using us as pawns. Ouch. So I mentioned that he used to be an NFL wide receiver with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what he's doing this Sunday, let me just say this voter registration this weekend will break records. More details to come. Be there. And that's him, and he put himself in the picture holding up Trump. So he's doing a voter registration drive during the Pittsburgh Steelers New York Jets game this weekend. For those of you who may not know, Pittsburgh is located in Pennsylvania. So he's taking his game to the Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Jets game to do a big voter drive. And then I saw this pop up and I went, OMG. hearing that President Trump will be attending the Pittsburgh Steelers game on Sunday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The man's everywhere. The man is everywhere for everyone. Antonio Brown, who used to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who still has a huge following and huge fan base in Pittsburgh, has been talking about Trump. So this wasn't something that just happened. I mean, it was something that just happened. It wasn't planned like for months in advance, but he's been talking up Trump so much. Trump now decides, hey, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go to that game. So this Sunday, Trump is going to Pittsburgh, which is in Pennsylvania, and he's going to be attending the Pittsburgh Steelers New York Jets game, which is really interesting because a little about a week after that, he's going to be in New York. So he's going to be with the Steelers, and he's going to be with New York Jets fans on Sunday. Where's Kamala? Kamala. You got big problems, girlie. Big problems. And Kamala keeps saying Trump's hiding. He's hiding. No, he's not. He's not at all. Very too funny. Because this stuff just makes me laugh. I try to bring you guys stuff that I know you won't see in the media. I have some media clips, but they don't explain what they're doing. And so I try to let you guys see what's going on behind the scenes, how people are actually laughing at him. I know what I should do for the people on Twitter. I should probably create a list and publish it so everybody who's in our group can also follow some of these people. Now, in closing, and I must say, OMG. Those of you who aren't familiar, I've showed this many times, this is Polymarket. And Polymarket over the last 48 hours has exploded. Polymarket, unlike polls where they supposedly call somebody and say, hey, who are you voting for? Hey, what do you think? Polymarket is where people actually put money down. And they put money down betting on who is going to be president. And this thing was really tight. She was up by 5 or 6 points or so at one point. Now it's a 15-point spread. How accurate is it? I don't know. But all I can tell you is at this point, not just one. There are so many things point to him not just winning, but blowing her ass out. And I hope you now have enough information from everything I showed you today that you can now feel confident telling people. Again, big asterisk, get your ass out and vote. As he said, get Harry off the couch, do what you need to do. Because if people don't vote, this ain't happening. It ain't gonna happen. So you gotta vote, and then we gotta make it too big to rig. He has been completely right the whole time. Before I forget, let me go ahead and check the Super Chats. But everybody, you're seeing some of the stuff at this point that I've been seeing. And I sat back and I watched this and I watched this. And then with what happened the other day on YouTube, I decided to begin simulcasting and decided to launch the group. And I think this is all happening at the right time. These videos, I hope, are informative. I hope I'm giving you information that other people aren't really even providing. A lot of people can comment on things, but I want to give you a deeper dive. And now you see over a 15-year span how the black vote has been changing, and nobody wants to talk about that. It's incredible to me how these people are in positions of the media, and nobody mentions it. It's diving. Which is probably the reason why they brought in so many newcomers. I'm sure smart people on their side said, Americans are having less babies, and we're getting rid of the other ones. So, and the black people are turning away. What are we going to do? So I almost think that baby disposal has hurt them. Because with people having less babies on their own, and with baby disposal, who do you think's having most of these? See, that's another thing. When you look at the big blue van that parked out in front of the DNC, who do you think most of the customers are? You see, the problem is most of the people would say this is racist. Most of the black people who have been in Democrat circles have gamed the system because they knew, why would I get rid of it? Because I'm going to get money from the government. I'm going to get Section 8. I'm going to get an EBT card. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get free medical, blah, 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 blah. So I think the Democrats have really hurt their own base. And they didn't foresee where this thing was headed. And they never could foresee that the black men were going to be like, yeah, I want to do something with my life. So, let's talk about this. Thank you. Just not knucklehead. Hey, brother, no homework, Barry. No pencils. Can I use my brain online? Estrella. Remember, folks, Kamala was not elected. She was installed like a toilet. Brendan DiMaggio, will my vote count with early voting? I'm considering voting for Trump in Georgia tomorrow. I understand the early vote in Georgia has been phenomenal for Trump. Upin Rankin, thank you. Susan Cummings, early voting got in my North Carolina county starts. Hope a lot of people in North Carolina get out to the polls. Ruth McCurdy, the only toxic masculinity are my man's dirty socks. I hear you. I can't even wear shoes in the house, man. She tells me I got to leave my shoes at the front door. No name, being a single man Republican in Maryland is depressing. I can imagine. Tommy Radcliffe, LOL, love you, Barry. Obama was so bad. That they're going to look back on that, historians, like that was a bad move. Not as bad as what Clinton did, but bad. Susan Cummings, oh yeah, my husband's also voting for Trump. Awesome. Tommy again, I only call myself the little white guitarist because I am, and because I'm third member of Two Dots and a Dash, my party band for 20 years with two black dudes and me in the middle. That's pretty cool. Bass player and a drummer, probably. Marcus, we owe Rachel Dolezal an apology. That's funny. Staten, she knows the white man has been beaten to total submission by the DNC and the woke mind virus. She got a surprise coming. Yeah, them white dudes from Harris. Big Cat, love the show, Barry. Your work is going good. Thank you very much. Lynn Geldmeyer, the Dems aren't going to sit back and take this. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah, we know it's coming. That's why I keep telling y'all prep. Get some prep going on. Just another knucklehead. Joy Reid, also known as Baghdad Bob, Harvard grad. She is crazy. Just knucklehead again. you're so good, man. We will see what those polls really show on November 6th for sure. John Plotkin. Hold on. Let me move this down here. John Plotkin. Truth hurts. Yes. Dominic. Barry, for the love of Trump, don't put Gold Dome Joy Miss Reed on before dinner. And just another knucklehead. Kamala goons have to actually do Joe Rogan for that to work out in her favor. Oh man, it's too much. But I just wanted to show you guys what I see, and now you guys know the data and understand it. And if you need me to bring it up again next week, I'll show it again. But it's just looking like we're at the point of no return for her. And so the only problem they can do is do what they did last time and unleash holy hell on America. Got to be prepared for that. All right, so I'm going to bounce. I'll be back in an hour. We're going to be talking, and I'm not going to be talking. Trump has a a speech. I'm sorry, let me get that again. We'll be back in an hour. Trump's got a speech in Atlanta. We'll be covering that, and I hope you guys can make it back for 7. You know, it's different when I got to cover the whole hour and a half or whatever, but then he talks for a couple hours. So go ahead and spread the video, like it, share it, do all those kind of things. And if you haven't joined our community, please go ahead and do so. I'm sure the mods have put up the link quite a few times. And if you're on Twitter, thanks for watching.